Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by Kalshi. Use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10 on Kalshi. I'm Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on the show today, and we are celebrating. We are enjoying bringing it in. Fly the L, everybody. The Brewers sweep the Chicago Cubs in Wrigley for the first time in 5 years. Just an incredible performance. A shutout of the Cubs to put the exclamation point on this one. The Brewers letting everyone know, hey guys, we're the ones who have three-peated as division champs here, and we're not going anywhere. As much as the Cubs may want to bring in Alex Bregman, do all this whatever stuff, the Brewers are still the class of this division, and they snapped the Cubs' 15-game winning streak at home, and they did it in grand fashion. Now they've started a 3-game losing streak for the Cubs at Wrigley Field. What a fantastic series for this group. I mean, they're able to get going there on the road in Minnesota to start this road trip, and now they are flying high here, taking control, 1.5-game lead over the Cubs here in the division. Just incredible what they did all series long. The Cubs bats were not able to get anything going. They weren't really able to get anything going against Sprout. They weren't able to get anything going against Mizrowski. They couldn't get anything going against Kyle Harrison. Just lights out. Electric work from this Brewers pitching staff. This honestly might be the best pitching staff we've seen for the Brewers probably since that 2021 group when you had Woodruff and Corbin Burns, your Cy Young winner that year, and Freddie Peralta. You had Hauser and Lauer that year, which were all insane as well. This might be that best group since then that they have had. And it is just, I mean, it's a young group as well. It's a young, largely inexperienced group. Brandon Woodruff has been on the IL for a little bit. Quinn Priester, who got, a whole ton of experience last year. One of the more experienced pitchers in the group, which, again, doesn't say much. But Quinn Priester unavailable all season so far. So to be able to do it with these guys and to have them pitching so well and have them leading to this sweep here is insane. And one of the best stories of it is Kyle Harrison, absolutely. And he has vaulted himself to the Brewers' second best starter, being the Brewers' number 2 starter. Now, that's not really a super hot take by me. But still, I think it's the right take. I mean, that's just kind of where we're at. As much as I love Brandon Woodruff, and also him being on the IL here, that doesn't help his case. But when it comes to who you want to have on the mound, who you feel good about winning when they're on the mound, I mean, Jacob Mizrowski is number 1, and right now, Kyle Harrison's probably number 2. I mean, he's probably right behind him just in terms of, he's pitching today. It's a pretty good chance it's going to be a Brewers win. 7 shutout innings in this game for Kyle Harrison. Just 2 hits. He retired 15 batters in a row at one point. 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. His season ERA is down to 1.77. I mean, it is just stupid. I mean, you look at at Kyle Harrison with the Giants, and he had a mid-4s something ERA. They gave up on him. They're like, we'll send him out, and we'll get Rafael Devers here. Goes, spends half a season in Boston, and Boston's like, we'll give up on him here. We'll trade him for Caleb Durbin and some infield depth. And now look at what Kyle Harrison has turned into. I mean, both the Giants and the Red Sox have to be absolutely kicking themselves for letting this guy go and letting him end up in Milwaukee. I mean, that's kind of the part of it too, because for all these pitchers, coming to Milwaukee is the right situation for them. Chris Hook, Jim Henderson, they know how to develop these guys and how to get the absolute best out of them. We have seen that time and time again with the pitchers that have come through Milwaukee. And you just kind of got the feeling, and I think I talked about this back when the Brewers first acquired Kyle Harrison. It's like, look, I really liked Kyle Harrison's stuff. Fastball, obviously, really good pitch. Putting him in that Brewers pitching lab and the pitching development, the H&H car wash, as Pat Murphy calls it, Putting him there, I thought he was going to turn into an absolute stud. And sure enough, he was right. Again, not a super hot take by me, but again, ends up being correct here. I mean, Kyle Harrison has turned into an absolute stud right behind Jacob Misiorowski as the second best starter in this rotation. And just having that domination and him being able to take these development steps. Now, obviously, the kick change was, it started for him in Boston. And the Brewers have kind of helped, refine it, make sure that he's using it correctly here. And it is just a thing of beauty. What he's been able to do, that fastball, obviously using it quite a bit. One of the best fastballs that the Brewers have had in quite some time. Not only in terms of velocity, because obviously he can get it up there in terms of velocity, but the movement on the pitch as well, just adding to it. That is what makes this such an impressive pitch for Kyle Harrison. It's why he gets so many strikeouts. It's why he's been pitching so well. The Brewers know how to utilize that fastball. William Contreras knows when to call for it, where to put it, and he's helping these guys along. It is just absolutely sensational what they've been able to have them do. So Kyle Harrison, another development success story here for the Brewers. Red Sox didn't want him. Giants didn't want him. The Brewers say, hey, we'll take him. We'll take this guy with a career 4.5 ERA over a couple of seasons, and we'll turn him into a stud. And sure enough, they have. And that's the tough part here with looking at some of these like surface level stats of the pitchers that the Brewers acquire. They can have 4-something ERAs, 5-something ERAs, and just with the Brewers' track record, their history, how they develop pitching, you just know they're going to turn this guy into a stud somehow. We may not see it from the outside. We may not be as well versed in some of those numbers that they're looking at and all the data that they have, because the publicly available data is far different from what the team and the front office has available to them. But when they look at all those numbers and they see a guy with a 4.5, 5-something ERA, they think to themselves, we know how to turn this guy around. And sure enough, they have. And they have done it here with Kyle Harrison, and they've turned him into their number 2 starter, essentially here. I think even when Woodruff comes back, Kyle Harrison is still going to be your number 2 starter there. And then when Brandon Woodruff's your number 3, arguably there, you are sitting in great shape, which is exactly where you can be sitting on Kalshi as well. Because on Kalshi, you can trade every single game. And, hey, what were we kind of talking about all week here? Taking the Brewers by 1.5. And, I mean, you're getting some plus money on that. I mean, as we've been talking about here, so you making those trades, working in that prediction market. I don't know if you predicted a sweep, but as we've kind of been talking about each and every day here, predicting a Brewers win and putting that combo together made for quite a bit of success here. And now the Brewers are going to be taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers after they come home here. They're going to be taking them on starting on Friday. So that is going to be a big one here for the Brewers. And on the mound for that game on Friday night, you got Logan Henderson up there for the Crew. Justin Wrobleski is there for the Dodgers. So that's what you've got coming up on Friday. And the Brewers currently trading at 52% to win that game. Now, I mean, the Dodgers are still the Dodgers. They've still been really good. But the Brewers have been on a roll here. So the Brewers trading at 52% to win this game on Friday night with Logan Henderson on the bump. And that does mean a $100 trade pays out $180 with a Brewers win on Friday night. And Logan Henderson, he's been pitching phenomenally as well over this past stretch that he's been called up, filling in for Brandon Woodruff. He has been incredible. And to be able to have him out there in this kind of game, I think that that winning train's going to keep on a rolling here for the Milwaukee Brewers. And on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use that code right here. Right here on the screen, Fan Arch Baseball, to get $10 when you trade 10 KALSHI Kalshi trade on anything. All right. Now, looking at the outfield here, We haven't really talked about this guy much all season. The Brewers brought him in the offseason, one of their very few free agent signings, Akil Baddoo, who suffered a leg injury back in spring training. So he had been out for a while, placed on the 60-day IL. He is on rehab assignment down in AAA Nashville. Nashville out there in Durham this week, taking on the Durham Bulls. And Akil Baddoo goes yabba dabba doo, goes yabo a couple of times, twice in the game on Wednesday night for the Nashville Sounds. So 2 homers for Baddoo. He seems to be feeling it and being able to play well down there on rehab. With Brandon Lockridge still being hurt for a little bit longer, and Baddoo on the mend here once we get to that kind of 60-day point, because he was on the 60-day IL, so I think he still has a little bit longer to wait there on rehab before he can be activated, because it has to be a minimum of 60 days from the beginning of the season. So it doesn't matter when he gets placed on the 60-day IL. It's just kind of when you started on the IL. So for Baddoo, it goes back to the beginning of the season. So it's going to be within about a week or so here that Baddoo could be activated from the IL. And, I mean, if he's hitting homers like this and being able to hit the ball well, I wonder if we're going to see him get called up, perhaps in place of Blake Perkins, to kind of fill in as that reserve outfielder. Because, I mean, Perkins, I love the guy, but he's hitting a 105. I mean, that's not good. There's no way around. You can't keep your job in the big leagues very long when you're hitting 105. I don't care if it's limited at bats. When it's that low, it's a problem. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Akil Baddoo, excuse me, being able to get the call here as soon as he's able to be activated from the IL, because the Brewers could use him there in that reserve outfield role. Garrett Mitchell left Wednesday's game in about the 5th inning with a little bit of back tightness that he was dealing with. So, I mean, you have the off day on Thursday here, so that could help maybe calm that down, and we see Mitchell back in the lineup on Friday. But, you know, if there are some potential concerns, because, you know, obviously Mitchell has a bit of an injury history now. His have been kind of more of the catastrophic variety. You know, it's been broken bones, you know, torn ligaments, things like that. So a little bit of back tightness kind of seems like nothing. But then also when you have Christian Yelich and you hear back tightness, it's like, oh no, here we go again. But still, with Akil Baddoo being on the mend, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting the call as soon as he's ready, rather than being activated off the IL and then, you know, sent to AAA and things like that. So that is a possibility to look out for as well, because Baddoo does have an option remaining. But that's something to keep an eye on here. And also, as we've kind of talked about, the left side of the infield for the Milwaukee Brewers. And it's like, okay, when are you going to see Cooper Pratt? When are you going to see Jet Williams? It should be fairly soon, you would imagine. You look at a lack of production over there on the left side of the infield, and it's like, okay, it's only a matter of time. David Hamilton on Wednesday night, not ready to lose his job just yet. I'm not sure if he watched the show and kind of lit a fire under him, but he went 3 for 4, included a Little League home run, which scooted under the glove of Pete Crow Armstrong. PCA's been having a rough week. First, he gets yelled at by a White Sox fan. A White Sox fan just kind of out there in the outfield, gets yelled at by her. He yells back. He ends up getting fined by the league for it. Then he drops a fly ball by Sal Frelick the other day. And then a routine single to center by David Hamilton. And he just kind of olays it up the side, just lazily goes after that ground ball. It scoots under his glove, goes all the way to the wall, and David Hamilton ends up with a Little League home run. It was just incredible. It was chef's kiss. It was perfect. That PCA was the one of all people for that to happen to. And that David Hamilton, who was basically kind of jogging to first, because he's like, okay, single to center, that's cool. Kind of take it easy there going into first. And he sees it get by him. Boom. Just scoots right by. And he goes from home to first in 5 seconds, and then first to home in 10 seconds. So 3 times the distance and only 2 times the amount of time. Like, insane. Just insane speed for David Hamilton there. And then he ends up with a triple later on because Seiya Suzuki, running after the fly ball, decides not to catch it with his glove and let it hit him in the chest. Bold strategy. And it ends up going for a triple for David Hamilton. He ends up 3 for 4. Really good night for Hamilton. So you love to see that for him. It's been a struggle early on here. It's been a lot of bunting for David Hamilton, but he's not ready to lose his job just yet there. But he's going to try and fight for it there. But it's a matter of time until Pratt and Williams are coming up the way that they've been hitting the ball. By the way, Cooper Pratt homered again on Wednesday night for AAA Nashville. He hit the bull over there in Durham for the Durham Bulls, so he should be winning a free steak. Would be nice if he could have that free steak at Carnivore in downtown Milwaukee, and perhaps get that fairly soon here. That would be nice. I'm just saying I would love to see it. I'm not necessarily expecting it right away, but look, it could be any time at this point, especially if he keeps hitting homers like that. It could be any day now for Cooper Pratt when you keep putting up that kind of production. So we shall see, but David Hamilton had himself a really good night on Wednesday night, contributing to that sweep of the Chicago Cubs. Fly the L, fly it high, fly it loud and proud. And the Brewers have a 1.5 game lead over the Chicago Cubs in the NL Central. And now they will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers in a rematch of the National League Championship Series from last year. Hopefully this series goes a little bit better for the Crew. But we'll be here to break it all down, and we'll be looking forward to previewing the series coming up on tomorrow's show. So be sure to subscribe, get notified when that episode drops. Follow me on Twitter as well, at dgasper24. Thank you for listening and enjoying, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.